expressing this into the completed square form. It's slightly different from what we have usually, whereby usually there's a constant. In this time round, this case, we don't have a constant. But does our method differ? No, right? Because actually, what is the constant? Plus 0. Right? So actually, the method doesn't differ at all. Right? What we have to do is to do the usual. Okay, plus 12x. Then what are we going to add? 12 divided by 2 square, right? So that will be 6 square. Okay, we don't have to intentionally write the plus 0. Okay, but I'm just writing it there in case some of you need that, okay, to visualize the whole comparison. Right, then after that we will get x squared plus 12x plus 6 squared minus 6 squared. Okay, so what do I write in the bracket? X plus 6. Okay, so that will be the answer. Okay. Any questions? Okay, do you think we need to do one more of this?
Yes.
No one? Yes? Okay.
Yes.
We do. Right. Then let's take a look at maybe how about part D. Jaden, do you think my handwriting is it? Okay, the size of 180. Next, looking at part D. X squared minus 3 over 4x. Okay, so how do we go about doing our completing the square? Okay, maybe Isaac, if you want to give this a try.
I think x squared minus 3 over 4x plus
3 over 8, okay. And then square.
and then minus 2 over 8.
Great. Okay, good. So 3 over 4 divided by 2 is our 3 over 8. Okay. So take note that whenever we have a fraction and then we want to square, make sure there's brackets around it. Okay. And then what will we get in our brackets in the end?
X minus 3 over 8.
X minus 3 over 8. Okay, we must simplify our answer. So for this 3 over 8 squared, do press your calculator. Okay, such that we will have 9 over 64. Right? Any questions? Okay, so now we have dealt with learning how to do completed square form for expression. Remember our objective right at the start of this topic, it was to learn how to actually solve quadratic equations that cannot be factorized, right? Okay, so let's take a look at our practice now 5. Okay, question 1. Okay, so let's take a look at part A. Okay, so this question itself, we cannot factorize the given expression. Okay, so what we need to do is apply our completing the square. Okay, typically okay, in a question, in an exam question, if they require you to do completing the square as a method to solve a quadratic equation, they will usually ask you to actually express it to such a form first. Then part B, they will say hence solve. Okay, so that will be how questions usually look like. Okay, because there are many methods for us to go about solving a quadratic equation. So looking at this one here, x squared plus 6x minus 4, we do our completing the square. Focus on the left hand side first, right hand side we don't change it yet. Okay, so our completing the square will be x squared plus 6x plus our 6 divided by 2 square minus away 6 over 2 square minus 4 equals to 0. Okay. Now I've already said you can write 3 square, not an issue. So really focus on the left hand side. Then once we have done with the completing the square, we move this minus 13 over to the right side. Then it arrives at what we want, right? Where we can do square root. Okay. So we get plus minus root 13 minus 3. We need our answer in 2 decimal places as per the requirement of this question. So we use the calculator to help us. For the benefit of our new students, this year, okay, the expectation that we have been driving since the rest of us in Set 1 is that we always give our answer to truncated 5SF. Truncated means that we just chop off the remaining digits. So we look for 5 significant figures. Okay. Then after that, we end off with answering the question to 2 decimal place. As a reminder to the rest of us about our accuracy expectations. Okay. Any questions? Okay, if no, then could you please do part B and part C on your own now, as well as giving question 2 a try. I've already placed out part B and part C's answer on the whiteboard, so if you'd like to check. Okay, some of you, I noticed, you couldn't recognize that the coefficient of Z in this case is actually a 1. Okay, such that it should actually be a 1 divided by 2. Okay, you had a tendency to do Z divided by 2 instead. Okay. I think some of you are still working on question 2, so I'll give you maybe about 2 minutes. Okay. complete quadratic equation first before you do your completing the square. Okay. Then after that, a reminder that when we solve, in this particular case, when they didn't specify that you need to give answer to 2 decimal places, what is the expectation for answer? 3SF. Okay. So final answer will be 3SF when it is not asked for. Okay. Any questions? Right? So with that, we're done with completing the square. So homework comes in. Okay. Exercise 1A. That's in your textbook, page 8. Okay. I want you to do these questions for homework 3AG, 4AF, 5B, 6 and 7B. Okay. Question 6 is the kind of question where you will see similar to how exam usually set it as. Okay. Where part A, they ask you to complete the square, part B, then you solve. Okay. So if someone rose her hand just now, any question? Okay. So deadline due on Friday 10.
Yes.
And now not planning homework yet, right? So due on Friday, that is the 12th. Yeah, do on full scan paper. Okay. Now let's go into our other method of solving. So we have learned 2 methods of solving quadratic equations so far. One was last year by factorization. Another one is just this completing the square. Okay. So next we're going to learn it by using formula. So formula is actually the way to go about answering most quadratic equations question. Okay. We only do completing the square when the question really specifies for it. Right? But why is it that we still need to learn completing the square? Because it is the reason why we end up have the formula. So if you want to read it out, okay, I don't want to dwell too much time on it, you can read the proof itself on page 9 of your textbook. Okay? Whereby how it got about deriving the formula. Okay? So it's really about taking your quadratic, your generic quadratic equation, and then after that factorize out the A, and then after that continue with completing the square. Okay? So therefore, the formula that we will get eventually will be negative b plus minus square root b squared minus 4ac divided by 2a. In case you're wondering, do I need to memorize this? Answer is yes.
Yes.
Okay, except to memorize it. Okay. It doesn't appear in the formula list. In fact, very strangely, it only appears in your A maths formula list. I don't know why. It doesn't appear in your E maths formula list. Okay. But as you do more questions, you will definitely get yourself familiar with this formula. Right? So let's look at how do we apply the formula. Okay, what is all this A, B, and C? A, B, and C are the coefficients that we get from the quadratic form. A is the coefficient of x squared, B is the coefficient of x, C is the constant term. Okay, I hope you remember what's the meaning of coefficient. In loosely put it is the number in front of the variable. Right? Not forgetting the operation, so it could be negative as well. So try it out with part D from practice now 6. Here we have 1 minus x squared minus 7x equals to 0. Looking at part D, okay, how to go about solving this quadratic equation? First of all, we must recognize the correct coefficients first. We must recognize the a, b, and c. So as I mentioned, a must be the coefficient of x squared. In this case, what is the coefficient of x squared? 1. Sure? Negative 1. Anything else? Negative? Is that coefficient of x squared? 1. How many of you are saying 1? Okay, just I hear 1 here. No, illusion. Who says negative 1? Okay, it's negative 1 now. Okay, maybe some of you are not getting it yet. Okay, we can rearrange this term. We get negative x squared minus 7x plus 1, right? When I rearrange it, hope you can recognize your terms. 1, negative x squared, negative 7x. We always say operation in front. So I just shift it around, okay, to get the exact same format. Right? So the coefficient of x squared, a is actually negative 1, b is negative 7, and c is 1. Okay? For starters, you may want to have this habit of rearranging and then writing down your a, b, and c. Okay? As we get ourselves very familiar with this method, you will realize you don't really need this anymore. Okay? So now using the formula, x is going to be equals to negative b, but our b is negative 7. So it should be negative 7. Okay? Plus minus square root b squared, b is negative 7, so put in negative 7 squared. Okay, I prefer that you don't drop the negative, although negative 7 bracket squared is the same value as positive 7 squared. Okay. So minus 4 AC, A is negative 1, C is 1. Then divide by 8. So what you can do next is you can press this entirely into your calculator. You should be getting two answers because you have positive and negative. But usually what I do is I try to simplify it first. Okay? I like to calculate the thing in the square root itself first, which is 53. Then before calculating into our calculator. So we will get negative 7.1400 contributed 5SF. Okay, so we get negative 7.14 or 0.140. Any questions? Right? Do you need me to demonstrate one more? Otherwise, you'll try? Yes. So actually how this is being understood is that, okay, so get clarity, so this is actually understood as 7 plus square root of 53 divided by negative 2, or 7 minus square root of 53 divided by negative 2. So these are the two options. So to give you more clarity about the plus minus sign, this is what it means. It's 7 plus square root of 53 divided by negative 2, or 7 minus square root of 53 divided by negative 2. Okay. Any other questions? If not, okay, I want you to try the formula on your own. Okay, before I show you how to check using your calculator. Okay, I want you to try part A. Actually, the whole of practice now 6 o'clock. Part A, part C. Okay, sorry, A, B. Okay, try all these questions out. I give you 12 minutes. Let's go with that first. Your calculator, your model may not be the same as mine. Is it too dark? Can you see?
Yes.
Let me switch on the lights. Right. So, okay, you try to figure out whether the buttons are available on your calculator or not. Okay, so what I do is I press the mode button. Okay, and then there is a tree for equation. E2n is short for equation. Alright, and then you can look for the quadratic format. You see that number 3, the option number 3 is the quadratic format. Ax squared plus bx plus c equals to 0. Okay, so we're trying to solve an equation that is quadratic. This is for us to see whether our answer by calculation is actually correct with the calculator. So this is really for checking purposes. So you press the number 3, they ask for the value A, B and C. So for example, in part A is 2, B is 3, C is negative 7. You key in accordingly. Press 2 equal sign, 3 equal sign, negative 7 equal. Okay, press equal again. You will first see the first answer, 1.27, we rounded to 3SF. You press equal sign again, and you will see the second answer. Okay, so we are just using our calculator to help us in checking. Okay, you cannot use your calculator to provide the answer. Okay, because in our exam it is expected of you to show your formula and your working clearly. Okay, so I'm just showing you how to do a check. Right? Okay? So you got to find your way around with your respective calculator models. Okay? Then I was just doing a Google or YouTube search just now. If you really prefer to learn the quadratic formula, you saw, so you just go on YouTube, okay? There are plenty of it. I'm not going to sing one for you. Okay? Or whichever that you like. Okay? Yeah, you want pop goes the weasel also there. If you are still in the era of Lady Gaga, can do that too. If you prefer One Direction, okay, I don't know whether it's still in your era or not. Okay? Alright, so go and listen to one of them if you want. Okay? Right, we'll end here today. If you can't finish, just go back home and complete it. Okay? So let's end the class here today. Thank you.